Your pet always knows when you're coming home, but how? Can pets really tell time? The answer will surprise you and change how you think about animal intelligence forever. Keep watching to find out. But there are some fascinating ways that animals understand routines and schedules, whether it's knowing when breakfast is served or anticipating your arrival after a long day at work. So let's dive into the science of animal timing. And stick around for a special message at the end. Well, in addition to their internal clocks, pets also rely on external cues to estimate time. Similarly, if you give your dog a treat right before leaving for work, it might start anticipating your return once it notices that the morning feeding is finished and begins looking out the window. Essentially, your pet has learned the sequence of events that usually occurs before you come home and uses that knowledge to estimate when you will arrive. A study published in the journal Animal Behavior found that dogs could predict the return of their owners based on simple visual cues, such as the approach of a car or the opening of a garage door. Smaller animals, like hamsters, tend to live in a more rapid frame rate, meaning that their perception of time is much faster than ours. From the position of the sun to the sound of your footsteps, our pets rely on a combination of internal clocks and external cues to navigate their world. This phenomenon is likely linked to the strong emotional bond between pets and their owners, as well as their ability to remember past experiences of separation. It's possible that some pets, such as dogs and birds, measure time in part by the intensity of emotions associated with reunions. Predictability reduces stress, especially for anxious pets or rescues. Hit like, subscribe, and share this video with a fellow pet lover. Use feeding timers or treat dispensing gadgets to mimic routine when you're away. Want to teach your pet to tell time? No, probably not. Some pets appear to learn the clock. Owners report dogs reacting to alarms or watching clocks. This may be associative learning, not actual time reading. It's about signals, not numbers. Repeated triggers equals learned expectation. As they anticipate your return, their excitement builds, making the wait feel longer. Additionally, some pets may have a memory of past separations, which can influence their behavior during times of absence. For example, a dog that has been left alone for long periods of time in the past might become anxious and pace during future separations, even if the length of time is shorter. This behavior is not necessarily a sign of distress, but rather a manifestation of the deep bond they share with their owners. By understanding how animals perceive time, we gain a deeper appreciation for their intelligence and adaptability. From the position of the sun to the sound of your footsteps, our furry friends rely on a combination of internal clocks and external cues to navigate their world. By understanding how animals perceive time, we gain a deeper appreciation for their intelligence and adaptability. So next time you come home and your pet greets you with excitement, remember that they might not be checking the clock, but they are masters of rhythm, routine, and love. Next time you come home and your pet greets you with excitement, remember that they might not be checking the clock, but they are masters of rhythm, routine, and love. A hamster might experience 1 hour as equivalent to several minutes for a human. This difference in perception is due to the speed of their visual systems and metabolic rates. For example, a hamster's retina processes visual input twice as fast as a human's, which means they perceive motion twice as slowly. Consequently, a hamster's internal clock might run faster, causing them to experience time differently than larger animals like ourselves. This also means that your hamster's world may feel like it is moving in slow motion to them compared to a tortoise which perceives the world at a much slower pace. This variety in time perception among animals is thought to be an adaptation to their ecological niches. Animals that live in environments where predators and prey move quickly, like birds of prey and rodents, tend to have faster visual systems and shorter circadian periods. On the other hand, animals that are less vulnerable to sudden movements, like most reptiles and amphibians, have slower visual systems and longer circadian periods. Additionally, dogs can learn to associate certain sounds, smells, or sights with regular events, helping them to anticipate when it's time for a walk, playtime, or mealtime. All this goes to show that pets have an amazing ability to pick up on patterns in our daily lives. While they may not be able to tell time like we humans do, they can still anticipate events that happen regularly, whether it's breakfast, walk time, or your arrival. It's not about ticking clocks or complex calculations, but rather a clever adaptation to predict events that happen regularly. So how do they manage to know when you'll come home without glancing at the clock? Much like we humans, pets thrive on routine. They quickly learn the patterns of daily life in their environment and use that knowledge to anticipate your arrival. Your dog might start wagging its tail excitedly a few minutes before you open the door, or your cat might rub against your legs just as you reach for the food bowl. At first glance, it might seem like they understand time in terms of hours and minutes. But upon closer inspection, we see that they are really relying on associations and memories of past events. Okay, so pets don't read clocks, but that doesn't mean they're clueless about time. The SEN receives input from the eyes about light and dark cycles, and uses this information to synchronize with the SCRES roughly 24-hour rotation. They may not be able to tell time, but they sure do have an impressive ability to remember the schedule of their meals. If you feed your cat at 6 p.m. every day, it will likely show up right on the dot. Not because it understands hours, but because it learns patterns. Cats in particular have exceptional memories and can recall routines very well. They might also use other clues, like the position of the sun or the sound of your footsteps, to help them predict meal times. Whether it's the familiar jingle of the food bag or the routine of you filling their bowl, cats rely on these external cues to know when it's snack time. It then sends signals to other parts of the brain and body to regulate sleep, metabolism, and other functions accordingly. Just like the hands on an old-fashioned clock, these cells keep precise time, ensuring your pet's body knows when it's time to sleep, play, or eat. Animals have evolved sophisticated mechanisms to keep track of daily cycles without a watch or a phone. According to research published in the journal Philosophical Transactions of the Royal Society B, animals track time through something called circadian rhythms. These are internal biological clocks that respond to environmental cues like light, temperature, and social interactions. Like us, pets have circadian rhythms that help regulate important functions like sleep, hunger, and activity. But unlike our digital watches, these internal clocks don't just tell the time, they adapt to changing conditions. For example, if you wake up earlier one morning and take your dog for a walk at a different time than usual, their body's internal clock may adjust to the change within a day or two. That's pretty impressive, but it begs the question, how do these circadian rhythms actually work? It's tough to imagine our furry friends checking the time, right? No need to check the clock. To put it simply, these rhythms are controlled by tiny groups of nerve cells called the suprachiasmatic nuclei, or SEN, which are located in the hypothalamus region of the brain. But what does all this have to do with your pet seemingly magically knowing when you're be home? For example, if you always come home around 5 p.m., your pet might start associating the sound of your car pulling into the driveway with your arrival. Speaking of regularity, have you ever noticed your pet seeming to sense when it's mealtime? And dogs aren't too different? In fact, researchers have shown that dogs can anticipate regular events using behavioral cues. What's fascinating about animals' sense of time is that it varies significantly depending on the species. So while our furry friends may not be able to tell time in the traditional sense, they have developed incredible abilities to track changes in their environment and anticipate upcoming events. And speaking of love, did you know that many pet owners report their animals becoming restless or anxious the longer they ree away? While our pets may not be able to tell time like humans do, they possess remarkable abilities to track changes in their environment and anticipate upcoming events. If you want a calmer, happier pet, keep their routine consistent. Did you learn something new about your furry friend today?